Welcome, 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 family. Shalom, welcome back to our School of Torah. I am Morah, Moriyah, Yashar'el. Welcome to Yahushua house of Yashar'el. Word Yisrael. I know we got a few pronunciation and spelling. Tonight we're getting back into our Wednesday night teaching, our School of Torah. It's been about, I think, like a month, a little over a month. We are still in the topic, the book of Revelation seals our fate. We are thinking it not robbery to know and understand who our Hamashiach is. Abba, who know to understand who Abba Yah is and his salvation. The revelation is a revealing the understanding of who he is. Future events that are set to come, and some are happening even now, and some have happened. And this is why I believe the Father said that I am the Aleph and the Tav, the one who is, who was, who is to come. So we're going back to Revelation's first chapter. Shaba, if you could read those read the first 4 verses and then drop down to the 8. So it's like a refresher of the portion that we already went over. I especially am grateful for the portion where it says, grace be unto you. And it gives us an overview of who's talking and who he's talking to somewhat. So, Revelation,
thanks.
this the first verse. First chapter, 1st through the 4th, and then the 8th. These are the letters. Well, we're still in the prologue, which is the introduction of his letter to those assemblies.
Revelations 1 through 4, and verse 8. Verse 1, a revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach, which Yahuah gave him to show his servants what must soon take place. HaMashiach made it known by sending it through his angels to his servant John. Verse 2, who bore witness to the word of Yahuah and to the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, including all that John saw. 3, favored is the one who reads the words of this prophecy out loud, and favored are those who listen to it being read and keep what is written in it, for the time is near. Verse 4.
Hallelujah, that's a word. Favor. What translation are you reading?
Common English Bible.
Oh, I like that.
CEB.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4, John, to the 7 churches that are in Asia, grace and peace and shalom to you from the one who is and was and is to come and is coming, and from the 7 spirits that are before you, who is throne.
Hallelujah. And so we see the favor that's already been released upon us. We see this is a exposure, a revealing of our Hamashiach.
Verse 8.
Yeah, you did read verse 8. You didn't? Okay, do verse 8.
Verse 1 through 4. Verse 8 is I am
Yes.
the Aleph, and the Tav says Yahuah, the one who is and was and is coming. The Almighty.
Hallelujah. Absolutely. And so this gives us hope, and it causes our faith to be ignited that Abba sees, and Abba has already made way for us. He's already went ahead of us. He's already conquered that which needs to be conquered. We just need to supply the faith and allow His Spirit that has been released upon us to do what it does in us and through us. And so that's why we're still understanding, getting an idea of the power of His Spirit, understanding His power within us can cause us to be catapulted far beyond what we can dare understand. And so His favor is upon us. His provision is upon us. Hallelujah. His word has been spoken upon us. And we see the magnitude of His sevenfold spirit. That 8th verse says, and before we go to Isaiah 11th chapter, I am the Aleph, the Tav, the beginning and end, says Yahuah, Alua, I am the one who is and who was and who always was and who is to come, the Almighty One. Alua, He is. He is Alua. He is Ahaya. Like some people want to call Him Ahaya. He is. That's His title. I am that I am. He is Ahaya. He is Adani. He is the sovereign one, all powerful. He is the host, the controller, the controller, the master of the host of heaven. He's in charge. That's good to know. And so we're still in the spirit of BIYNAH. We're going to Isaiah the 11th chapter. Verse, read Shabbat first to the 2nd verse, I believe it is.
Isaiah 11, 1 and 2. A shock will grow up from the stump of Jesse. A shoot will grow up from the stump of Jesse. A branch will sprout from its roots. 2. Yahuah's Spirit will rest upon him, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of planning and strength, a spirit of knowledge and fear of Yahuah.
And so we see that stump of David's family, that shoot, that branch that was bearing the fruit from the root, which is from the Father, and like an offspring. And remember, in this word, the spirit, we're on the spirit of understanding, which is the RUACH of BIYNAH. So the offspring, we talked about the seed, the noon. The word BIYNAH is spelled B-I-N-A or B-I-N-A-H. And we've done the end. I tell you, when you do the research and the studying of the Hebrew language with the meaning and comparing it with the Hebrew letters, it fits like hand in glove. It takes us to another level, whereas we can literally see the function of the letter. Just like the noon is seen as a seed, Heir, son. You know, we see the power of that letter in this basic explanation of it. You know, and it cannot, and that heir, and another word that goes with that is continue. Son, heir, continue, the noon represented by a seed. Just think about it. In a seed, that is a pictograph of the letter noon, and continuing. What a seed do? Continue. It brings offspring. It brings an heir. It brings a son. So we did the letter noon already, and we're on the letter hey. We're on like the second part of the letter hey. BINA or BINAY, which is spelled bait. We did the bait. We did the yod. We did the noon, and now we're on the last letter, which is the hey. And the hey is pictograph of the man with both of his hands raised in a posture of surrendering, a posture of humility. Hey. And it means look, reveal, breath. And so we understand that look is the very essence of sight or understanding. Reveal and goes together with understanding, insight, knowledge. And so that spirit of understanding, we say it means to be prudent. To be prudent is the ability to govern your own self, discipline yourself by use of reason, skill, and good judgment. So in order to understand the spirit of BIYNAH, there has to be manifestation. There has to be a routine experience, experiential happening. We just can't say, oh, I understand, without no evidence. It's just like a seed. A seed is not a seed until it brings forth. You know, it's got to die and got to come up. We got to see something. We got to see some fruit. So that fruit is the ability to govern, to discipline, to use skills, good judgment. And then understand that we said means to perceive by having what? Insight. Spiritual insight. You just know it. One of the powers of the characteristics of the Father is omniscient, which means he's all-knowing. He has insight. He says, as far as the heaven is from the earth, is his ways, his thoughts, so much higher than ours. And so we're in need of coming up, of being filled with the Spirit so we can see. And when we don't have insight, the spirit of understanding, we miss seeing some things that are right there in front of us, such as wisdom. Because wisdom will basically tell us what to do. We need to understand that we need wisdom in order to perform to a place where, you stun like your daddy. You can't say that you are of a certain bloodline, and when they draw your blood, take your DNA, there's no evidence. Well, that is your son. You know that Moriyah show used to come on, and he used to have the envelope years ago, that foolishness, when I was younger. I don't even know if they still do that. And how the women would come there and say, that's the daddy, and they would test the different one. And he would look at something and say, John, when it come down to little John, with that head might be totally shaped different from yours. But when it come down to him being your son, according to DNA, you are the father. Why? Because there is evidence. There is scientific evidence. There's biological evidence. There's genealogical evidence. There's cellular evidence. All the way down, like I say, DNA evidence that's yours. So if we have the Spirit, wisdom is a byproduct. I believe they go together. And that's why we did wisdom first. Spirit of Kupma, wisdom. So insight is to become one with what has been revealed. You see it, you perceive it, and you're willing to carry it out. Whether it's in your thinking capacity, in your belief system, we need to be willing to carry out faith in the capacity of our thinking. To have hope, to understand that fear has no place in us. What the government say, what they say, the next plague coming out, I perceive that the word that has already been spoken is so much greater than what they say. So therefore, I'm not going to allow what is being said to be carried out or just subliminally, just basically be attached to my mind and my thought process. Well, I'm just fearing everywhere I go. I'm looking crazy, looking strange at people. And, I can't even go out in Publix because I'm full of fear in Publix. Not Publix, but Publix. I don't want to go to Publix. I ain't in the Publix like that. I ain't in no store like that. So we got to understand that we got to have evidence. So if I got evidence and I got the faith I need, I'm going to carry out the power of those instructions. I'm going to be it. So we understand to the point where the power of those instructions or those evidence are manifested, we said. So then we give opportunity for our faith to what? To grow. Faith has a chance to grow up. So in the midst of understanding the power within us, faith is a great commodity. Umunah. Without Emunah, there is no evidence. So we're going back to Psalms 119, where we can see Dawid basically being a manifest of what the hay is, as far as his speech, his understanding, his lifestyle. We started that. We've been in 119. Chama, can you read for me 119:33 to 40? It is those 7 verses. If you look in Psalms 119, you'll see the book broken up with the different letters, the Hebrew letters from the Aleph, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zion, Yet, Tet, Yod, all the way down, and it covers the entire book of Psalms 119. So 33 to 40.
Yahuah, teach me what your statutes are about, and I will guard every part of them. 34, help me understand so I can guard your instructions and keep with all my heart. 35, lead me on the trail of your commandments, because that is what I want. 36, turn my heart to your laws, not to greedy gain. 37, turn my eyes away from looking at worthless things. Make me live by your way. 38, confirm your promise to your servant, the promise that is for all those who honor you. 39, remove the insults that I dread, because your rules are good. 40, look how I desire your precepts. Make me live by your righteousness.
And so we see this word is just so clear. So clear that he understood by way and reason of the Spirit of Yah. Because this is why Yahusha said, apart from me, you can't do anything. You can't discern what understanding is. You can't discern counsel, might, wisdom. None of that is present in the absence of the Spirit of Yah, of His RUACH. None of it. You can't buy it. You can't shout it out. You can't just, it's just a gift. It's an endowment that the Father, Abba, has basically poured out upon his children. You know, we know that because Joel testified it to that. In the last day, I will pour out my Spirit on who?
All flesh.
Your sons and daughters shall prophesy and shall, you know, your young men, your old men, your women, on my handmaid will I pour out my Spirit. Well, we know that outpouring was another level because the Ruach had already came. So he knew we needed more. We needed to be drawn closer to him in the manifestation, whereas we can partner and become one with him. We can't become one with him until we got understanding. So that we had insight from the Abba. Hebrew Lexicon H998. Let me refresh that. BIYNAH, B-I-N-A. And so we know that's the bait, yod, noon, and the hay. The bait, noon, yod, noon, and the hay. Understanding, wisdom, knowledge, meaning perfectly. You understand. You got insight. There is no guessing at understanding. The light is on. You understand that what's in front of you, it is what it is. You're not trying to figure out what it is. That's what it is. It is sure. So we stop at the 35th verse. The first two verses we did in our last teaching, and you can get that by tuning into either our YouTube channel, Yahushua, House of Yashar'el, or our Facebook page. 35th verse says, make me walk along the path of your commands, for that is where my happiness is found. He got insight. He got great perception, great experiential perception, even though he knows that there's more to do, because he's asking him, make me walk along, there goes that word, path. I understand that there is a protocol, there's a set call, there's a set cause, there's a set culture. So three things. There's a set cause, C-A-U-S-E, which is reason. There's a set call, C-A-L-L, and there's a set culture. Everything that needs to be done is on that path. I just need to get on it. It's like you hear good news, you just say, ooh, just think of like the Wizard of Oz, Toto and what the girl named Dorothy, if I could just get home. And in the end, if I could just get home, I know if I could just get there, I'm going to be, if I could just get to this wizard. That was her belief system, according to the writing of the script, of that foolishness. Very bewitching and magical, you know. So it lets us know the capacity of the intellect, of the mind, that a man can basically drift off into another land or realm that's not even real. That's not going to even bring them anything. Having a hope for something that's not even, you know, authentic. So this is why he understood that the path that he was on was a result of him being seed. heir, son. I'm hooked in. So make me a good parent or father chastise his children. Make me meaning if you gotta whoop me and get me on the, if you gotta, use the rod, whatever, just get me on the right path. Because I discern and I understand within myself that I ain't got it. I'm far from you. So I need to come close to you, and I want you to give me your understanding. So that he did have. So we can have understanding, but are we willing? Remember we talked about being willing. We perceive means to have insight, but you got to be willing to carry out what those instructions are. So he allowed the Father the space to do whatever was necessary because he acts. This is why the word say you don't have what you need because you don't act. And then when you act with the wrong motive. What is your motive? This word will put us in check if we just dare to follow it. That's the answer there. So he said, make me walk along the path of your commands. His command is his law, his precept, his judgment, his final opinion. Psalms 25 and 4. Let's go to Psalms 25 and 4. See, a lot of times we hold back asking the Father for such things. We hold back unknowingly by reservations. And having reservations about some things could be an act of fear. It could be an act of doubt. Now, I don't know what he might do to make me understand or make me to follow his path. He might have to break my leg. Or whatever. He might have to put me between a rock and a hard place. Well, it may not if we got all that insight. We just need to be willing to, obey. Remember, obedience comes before sacrifice. Psalms 25. This is Dawid again. He was praying for defense and guidance and to be pardoned. I'm going to start at the top verse, first verse. Yahuah, I give my life to you. Major words. Major, 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 major. How many people are willing to go beyond just words? Because we understand talk is cheap. Go beyond words. I give such a pretty song. I give myself away. And as soon as the first test to those powerful words comes, oh no, I don't mean like that. So he said, I give my life to you. I trust in you, my Father, my Abba, my Eluah. Do not let me be disgraced. See, we need to understand that the opposite, the contrary of being filled with the Spirit, is disgrace. Disgrace becomes disgust, frustration, ashamed, naked and ashamed, without his Spirit, without favor. That's what disgrace is. Don't let me be disgraced, or let my enemies rejoice in my defeat. You know your haters just ready to see and ready to say, I told you. And the first person line of defense for the hater is self. The self always trying to get us to go opposite, contrary to what the words say. Yourself will be your greatest battle when it comes down to obeying the Most High, understanding what obedience and how powerful obedience is. Because you know what self say? Oh, it ain't all that. Y'all excuse me for laughing. I got to laugh. Because it will tell you that. And if the average man be all honest, oh, I ain't got to do all that. It's not that important. Yourself will be the first one to cause you to go AWOL or be disgraced. Because when I myself not try to tell me that, but tell me that, the Spirit comes up and says more than that. It is all that and some. I can add some more onto it. So we don't want the enemy that's within us to gloat over our defeat. He said, and then that third verse say, no one who trusts in you will ever be disgraced. That's the answer right there. When we trust him, we obey him. Period. Emunah. Emunah stands erect like a sore thumb, standing out from the other four. It's screaming, ah, you hit me. You can't help but notice it. It's very conspicuous. It's radically loud when we trust him, because it is evident. Seed, heir. Any heir to a throne is recognizable. The principle, the characteristic, the lifestyle is hated among the wicked because they can't get it. They can't get there, so they loathe it. They just watch it and snarl at it. So that trust lets us understand, and when we obey him, we'll never be disgraced. It's blind faith, emunah. Faith fits itself with things hoped for. I'm going to obey the Most High. And I'm not going to worry about being disgraced and made ashamed, because I know my faith means everything. And then it says, but disgrace comes to those who what? Try to deceive others. Whoops. There it is. That's instructions that are so clear to us. Insight. Reveal. Look, reveal. Breath. Man, hand raised. He's showing me what I don't want to do. What I don't want to partner with. 3 things about, he said about disgrace. Don't let me be disgraced. No one who trusts in you will be disgraced. But those who try to deceive others will be disgraced. So we don't worry about liars and people just doing stuff that's for spite. I just laugh. Because he already has a reward. Then that 4th verse is what we're headed to. Show me the right path, Yahuah. Point out the road for me to follow. That is a great, awesome prayer. That is my prayer. Show me, set me on the right path, and then point out the road. Which road? Because there are many roads. Which one shall I take? And then Psalms 112. And that goes with that 35th verse. Make me walk in your path or your command. This word is to be read over and over again, line upon line, and then prayed over while you're reading. Father, just give me this. I mean, having that word right there in front of you, I'm talking about personal time and prayer. I need to pray this out right here. Because this is really golden for me. Make me to walk in your path, for that is where my happiness is found. Then Psalms 112. 112 says, how joyful are those who fear Yahuah and delight in obeying his commandment. So this is not a place being set on the right path. It's not a place of frustration. It's not a place of drudgery. Oh, man. That's why you say judge yourself by this word. When you read it, judge yourself. Is that you? Obeying his command is a delight. What we delight in, we take pleasure in. We can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to get into this word. I got my book. I got my map here. I got my lexicon here. I got my dictionary. I just can't wait to get back into this word because he's talking to me. And this is why it's so wonderful that we can record. We have technology today. There's no excuse, really. There's not one excuse for us not to let this word be hidden in us. Then back to Psalms 119:36 says, give me an eagerness for your what? Your laws. Give me an eagerness. Let me get passionate. I need to understand that his laws need to be something I need to be eager about. I need to be passionate about. I need to be excited about. I don't need to be watered down and so into other stuff. I'm eager about eating a good meal. I'm eager because I can make some money. I'm eager because I can go shopping. I'm eager because I can buy a new dress or shoes or whatever. But I ain't eager about this word that gives me a hope of eternal bliss with him. That when the mess hit the fan, he promised to keep me. That when he said, I promise to heal you and deliver you from all your diseases. If you obey me, I'll not let none of these diseases that I'm going to allow the wicked to suffer. None of these will come upon you. That don't get you excited. Well, you dead. So he prayed, he said, I'm eager. Give me an eagerness. He asked for what he wants. Remember, you don't have it because you don't ask. And when you don't ask, you got to ask with the right motive. Shlomo, when he wanted to judge the people of the Most High, when he wanted to build a tabernacle, rather than asking for riches, he asked the Father for wisdom. Wisdom to lead the people. Then the Father just poured stuff out on him, just lavished him with wisdom and that, and more. He acts with the right heart. He acts according to what the Father wanted. We shouldn't be asking for things. We should be asking for more of his spirit, more of his presence, more of his wisdom, more of his understanding. Seek ye first. Understand what Matthew 6:33 means to you. This is personal. This is all personal. Time out for us hating on what other people doing. Oh, look what they doing over there. Look what they got. I ain't got time for that foolishness. I'm too busy doing what the Father has given me, understanding that I have to seek ye the kingdom first. And what is what? Right by him. What right by the Father trumps every opinion in my little finite mind, in the minds of men. It is what is right by him. So I need to do everything within my power, doing what is right. If you know something is right, do it. Don't run from what is right. If it's right and fair, do it. You ain't got to ask, oh, Father, should I not slap them? Or should I slap them? Because they make me like, yeah, your flesh ain't right. Slap them. You know that's not right to go slap nobody. You know it's not right to treat other people like you want to be treated. If you don't want to be approached, don't approach people. Everybody is approachable. Do other people. Don't approach me in the dark. Approach me face up. That's where that's supposed to go. That is right by the Most High. It is right to build a healthy relationship. It is right to hold ourselves accountable and one another. That's right. Remember what happened to those who try to deceive others? They what? Disgraced. I ain't about that business. And we should be telling ourselves, I'm not doing that. The devil is a lie. I don't want no part of that. Because this word set the line straight. And it makes it narrow. And there's no room for options. It is what it is. So he said, give me eagerness for your laws, your opinion, your ordinances, your word, your judgment, your final whatever, your chastisement. Give me eagerness. Because I am under the law. I keep the law. Yes. And the part of that law is I got favor. Hello. A part of that law is if I obey him and if I keep his commandment, if I'm not ashamed of him, he won't be ashamed of me. If I seek him first, then all these things will be added unto me. That's the law. I'm under that. I'm under the reparation of the good, of the blessed and highly favored if you obey me. I claim that for myself. Then there's a law like we're talking on Shabbat. The wages of sin is death. I'm not under that. Because I understand my Hamashiach already paid for that for me. Why would I be cashing in on something that's going to bring me death and someone else already paid for it? Why? Doesn't make any sense. So that the law that I'm eager for is his righteousness, his truth. I love your law rather than what? Money. That means I'd rather obey you and put money in its proper place. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, but to love it. You know, there's a text in the Bible that really say money answers all things. It can answer some things. But it does not trump his law, the eagerness. I have more eagerness for his word rather than loving money. So when you love that money more, you're going to obey that money before you obey what Torah says to do. Period. And there is no recourse because you got to obey. You got to do what that whatever your treasure is, that's what you got to follow. You have no choice. You got to follow it. You got to do what it say. If it tell you to jump, you say, all right, where we jumping at next? Luke 12 and 15. Luke 12 and 15. We started a little late, so I'm going to do one more reference after this one. We're just doing 2 verses tonight, 35 and 36. Luke 12 and 15 says, I'm going to go back up to the 13th verse. Yahushua is telling the story about the rich fool. That 13th verse reads, then someone called from the crowd, teacher, Morah, please tell my brother to divide our father's estate with me. Tell him to give me some money, give me some things too. Yahushua said, the 14th verse, friend, who made me a judge over you to decide such things as that? Verse 15. Then he said, beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you owe. And so we see the mind of the RUACH, period. Sounds cold, sounds sarcastic. Tell him to just give me my money. And I'm sure you should probably say, you don't even have salvation. You on your way out of here in the wrong way. So, in essence, life is not measured by how much you got. Life is measured about whose you got in you. Who's in you? Hebrew 13 and 5. Hebrew 13. I'm going to start at the first verse. Hebrew 13. Keep on loving each other as brothers and sisters. Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers. For some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it. Remember those in prisons as if you were there yourself. Wow. Remember also those being mistreated as if you felt their pain in your own bodies. Verse 4. Give honor to marriage and remain faithful to one another in marriage. Yahuah will surely judge people who are immoral and those who commit adultery. Verse 5. Don't love money. Be satisfied with what you have. For Yahuah has said, I will never fail you. I will never abandon you. So to love money, meaning what the Most High has to say, I mean the money trumps what the Most High has to say. So therefore, you don't have no money, fear sets in. Depression. Or you just do anything to get it. So he's saying when the man have love attached to his heart, the love of money attached to his heart, there is no concern for salvation. There's no concern the man feel or need to please him. But we see that we understood this, how dangerous the love of money can be to the heart. He said, give me understanding. Give me an eagerness for your law. That's understanding. You got excitement. Anybody got a different word for that verse? 35 in your translation? 36, I mean. Give me that 36 verse. Psalms 1, we went back to the 119. Back to 119 and 36. Here in the New Living, it says, give me eagerness for your law rather than a love for money. So it looks like it's like the opposite of not really having a passion for the word is for one to literally love money. And to love it means you'll do anything for it. You'll misappropriate where you should be and whose you should be for just something as dirty and filthy as money. Even though you need it and it must be put in it to live in this earth, but it has to be put in its proper place. You can't put, money will hang you. Money will cause you to kill somebody. Folk done died over $5, $10, $2, $3. People have lost their lives. People have killed other people over a few pennies. Yeah. Let me read that in the translation. It says, incline my heart into your testimony, and not to covetousness. So covetousness tied to the love of money. Make me to go in the path of your commandment, for therein do I delight. Incline my heart into your testimony, your law. Let my heart be engaged or eager about your word, and not to covetousness. And covetousness is wanting what others have. Don't covet your neighbor's house. Your neighbor want to be in their place, want to have what they have, and not being content with what the Father has given us. So money must be understood in its proper perspective. Otherwise, it'll take you out. You can't love, you can't serve. Listen to this. The scripture say you can't serve Yahuah and money. Mm-hmm. It's like cheating, adultery. You know, you trying to serve Yahuah, but that money is so much more important. So it's a big thing that we have to really understand and be willing. Remember, prudence, that ability to govern and discipline yourself. Discipline so that fear and doubt and unbelief. Well, I just got to do this. Well, you ain't got to do nothing. Ain't nobody going to do this for me. Ain't nobody going to pay my bills. Ain't nobody going to... Well, is it coming before your relationship with the Father? That's when the challenge is on. Y'all say you can't serve me and money. You just can't. All right? So we need to understand that the power within us is so much greater than what's in the world. This is why the text says we're in the world, but we're not of the world. When the world acts in one way, we act in a total opposite, contrary. All right? Any comments, suggestions, questions? If not, this concludes our short, sweet teaching for tonight. And we hope you have a shalom.